focused on you.
Right now at 4, traffic is once again flowing freely along I-270 in North St. Louis County. After more than 3.5 years, construction along an 8-mile stretch is finally complete. Thanks for being here at 4. I'm Kay Quinn. Brent Solomon is on assignment. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held this morning, marking the completion of the I-270 North Corridor project. 5 on Your Side political editor Mark Maxwell joins us in studio with more on this multi-million-dollar highway rebuild. Mark?
Yeah, Kay, the highly anticipated ribbon cutting drew dignitaries from all over North County, including Missouri Governor Mike Parson.
1, 2, 3.
Whoa. You see him there cutting the ribbon alongside many of them, the Missouri Department of Transportation, local contractors and engineers who helped design and build the highway, all gathered along with that drum line you saw there to celebrate the completion of this massive rebuild. The I-270 North Corridor now includes that wider 4th outside lane, safer ramps with fewer conflict points where drivers might collide. It's supposed to be a lot safer in the process. All told, it took nearly 1 million man-hours to pour more than 60 lane miles of fresh asphalt and concrete and to install several new bridges. It's a major makeover for what was aging infrastructure.
This project started with just simply taking care of the interstate system and our roadways. They were simply worn out. We were holding bridges together with wire. I mean, this corridor was in desperate need of rebuilding.
Your tax dollars at work there. Those lanes are now open and the learning curves that come along with them. A little bit of finding your way around town now. We'll take you along some of those new stretches of road tonight at 6.
Much, Mark. The suspects in the human trafficking case in Defiance will have a chance to request bail this week. They're accused of brutally beating a 20-year-old man from India, forcing him to work and depriving him of food and sleep. Attorneys for the 3 have filed motions for their clients to get bond. A hearing will be held in St. Charles County Thursday. The prosecutor is asking the court not to set bond because of their wealth and influence in India. A 12-year-old boy turned himself into police today after shooting a man sent to the hospital. A St. Louis police officer says the boy's mother and her boyfriend had been arguing in a home on Sullivan just before 1 a.m. They say the boy grabbed a gun and shot the man in the head. He then ran off, but later went to a police station with his mother. The victim is in the hospital. No word on whether charges will be filed. An update now to a story we brought you at noon. 2 juvenile suspects are in custody after a St. Louis City police officer fired his weapon during a foot chase this morning. According to investigators, officers responded to reports that 2 juveniles had been breaking into vehicles on Morganford in South St. Louis. When the officers tried to stop them, one of the suspects ran off. That's when an officer chased him and noticed he had a gun. That officer fired shots. Neither the suspect nor the officer was hit. This afternoon, the Archdiocese of St. Louis announced it will not close any parish elementary schools. The decision is all part of the Archdiocesan All Things New restructuring process. In 2022, the Archdiocese notified more than 24 schools they might be closing. It gave them a chance to share data and gather feedback. All pastors recommended staying open for the 2024-25 school year. The Archdiocese says more than 80 schools are less than 65% full. Pastors who recommended remaining open as a standalone school have been asked to submit long-term plans by February 1st. In just a few hours, the St. Louis County Council will vote on the 2024 budget. It comes after weeks of disagreement between council members and County Executive Dr. Sam Page over proposed cuts. Page says his budget of nearly $600 million would reduce the deficit to $26 million, and it also cuts the shot spotter technology. The council's counterproposal would reduce the budget to $580 million, make more cuts to funding and departments, but restore the gunfire detection technology. Tonight's meeting takes place at the County Government Building in Clayton. It begins at 6:30. New hours are coming to the St. Louis County Library next year. All branches will close an hour earlier, starting January 2nd. They'll be open until 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. The library says it's making the change because there's just not a lot of traffic at night. Friday through Sunday hours will remain the same. All right, mild weather on repeat. Another day with temperatures in the 50s, no sign of rain. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here with that Weather First forecast.
You know, recreationally speaking, Kay, it is pretty nice weather, especially for December. You can still get out, walk the dog, and you don't need a lot of extra layers, although we did have another chilly morning this morning with temperatures away from town down into the 20s once again in many locations. We've started to see a little of an increase in cloud cover now around the St. Louis area. That was looking out into St. Charles. That's ahead. Actually, it's behind this next front, but ahead of a little bit of energy that's swinging through. And that energy is trying to kick off a few snow flurries up into parts of Iowa and Nebraska. And maybe you get up towards Kirksville and Quincy. There's a few flurries tonight, but not for us. Temperatures right now pretty close to 50, give or take a degree or two. St. Charles at 47. Alton's 48. Baldwin's coming in at 50, so is Creve Coeur. It's 51 in Mascoutah right now, as well as Cahokia Heights. There's a look up in Florissant where you see a few of those clouds starting to roll in. That's the trend we set here this evening as clouds are rolling in, but there are no big storms this week. Near to above normal temperatures will continue, and your slight rain chance, the only one we can find right now, is Saturday, and it's not much of one. We'll talk more about that and what you can see in the sky tomorrow night, Kay, in a few minutes.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thank you, Scott. Right now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is in the nation's capital pleading for more aid in his country's fight against Russia. That aid is caught up in a political battle between Republicans who want policy changes on immigration and a White House that needs and says Ukraine needs that money now. NBC's Alice Barr reports from the White House.
In a make-or-break moment for his country, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky returning to Washington to make his case for why the U.S. should keep standing with Ukraine against Russia.
And I'd like to thank American our partners for the support.
President Biden invited Zelensky to the White House in a bid to secure lawmaker support for a floundering national security package that ties aid for Ukraine and Israel to money for the U.S. southern border.
Mr. President, I've called on Congress to do the right thing.
On Capitol Hill, in a meeting open to all senators, the Ukrainian president adamant his country will win with U.S. support, while making clear
if we lose, Putin wins. And this will be very, very dangerous for the United States.
But after a one-on-one meeting with Zelensky, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson appeared unmoved, saying he needs clarity on the plan for victory and oversight of U.S. taxpayer dollars.
And we needed a transformative change at the border. Thus far, we've gotten neither.
Bipartisan negotiators are working for compromise but remain far apart, with Republicans demanding major policy changes to curb high levels of illegal border crossings, while Democratic members of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus are warning against harsh restrictions on asylum claims. Immigration reform, long one of the most vexing issues for Congress, now holding up urgent aid for U.S. allies. The White House warning Ukraine will run out of ammunition by the end of the year. Lawmakers running out of time as they prepare to head home for the holidays. The White House is reaching out to members of Congress in hopes of finding compromise, but leading lawmakers are indicating it looks increasingly unlikely this deal is going to happen before the end of the year. From the White House, Alice Barr, NBC News.
More evidence inflation is easing what you're paying less for right now. Could drunk driving be eliminated in the future? The move that could put technology to detect impaired drivers in all new cars.